Yo, what's up, Twitch? We're back out here. We're gonna play some Finspan. Some Finspan. All these span games. This is the fish one. And over the weekend, I did realize a couple things I was doing wrong when playing with the Automa. So I saw this little card here. On Automa's turn, if she draws a fish card that has any type of all-player benefit, you may immediately gain that benefit once. And then on your turn, each time your diver lands on an if-activated ability, Automa gains an egg from the supply. So I never did that. And then we have when you play a card with a when-played ability, Automa gains 4 eggs from the supply. So I'll have to remember that. I'll keep this card handy. We're going to do the same difficulty. I keep losing. 118 is around what the Automa scores. So we're going to do like difficulty, 4 and 5 today. We're pretty much set up here. Put some eggs. On the board. Some young. Got the Automa deck. All right, I'm gonna run these cards through the card shuffler one more time. This is Timu right here. 6-deck card shuffler. Comes in so handy for Wingspan. I mean, the stack of cards is like it's big. So get these shuffled up. Pick some weak achievements. Ooh. Struggling a bit there. Is my mic loud enough? I think it should be like... Maybe that's too loud. I don't know. Maybe someone can let me know. Eventually. Yeah, so looking at these last couple games I played, I tied 118 to 118. Lost 115 to 103. Lost 111 to 84. One game I did win, but probably wasn't playing right. 120 to 109. This just seems harder than Wingspan. It's a much simpler game, mechanic-wise, I think. Well, can't seem to get the right fish engine going here. Okay. Alright, let's look at... Let me see if all these are lined up. So we got this scene right here. Got the sun area. That looks fine. Got the depths. So Twilight Zone. We have Midnight Zone. For our little fish board here. And then we have the achievements board. I need to move that down. Okay. So this will be... I don't have an Automa scene here, but I'm gonna put that like that. Bring these down a little closer. Okay, so for the achievements, I want this rotate. And this thing is like stuck. Okay. Alright, so these are a little different than Wingspan. They have this little dash here. So these little 2 dashes means that this is a week 2 achievement. So you have to put the week 1s with the week 1s, the week 2s with the week 2s, week 3s with the week 3s. So I'm going to separate them first. So we have, this is a week 2 achievement. That symbol, oh, I need one of these iconography sheets right here. Very helpful. So this little iconography sheet has helped me a lot with learning what this stuff means. So electric, like an electric fish or an electric eel or something, that's what this little lightning strike would mean. And then this little dot is a bioluminescent fish. And then we have a camouflage fish for like the flounder and stuff. And then this little venomous symbol here, and that's all those symbols. So we would get 1 point for each of those. I did play that one over the weekend. The other side is a week 2. I didn't realize that. Oh, okay, yeah. So I would assume that both sides are have the same dashes, but I don't know. This one is 1 point for each egg, young, or school. And this is a week 2 achievement. And then, let me put this over here. We have week 1. I'm just going to choose the achievements this game because we have the Eagles game starting in like an hour. So I'm going to try to get through this in less than an hour. Okay, eggs and or young. Is that not the same? Oh, fish with eggs and or young tokens. Interesting, I didn't even read that right. Okay, let's start with the week 1s. So we have eggs and or young, 1 point for each one. And then we have small fish, another week 1. This is, they have that symbol on the fish cards. If they're small fish, medium will be half colored in and large will be all colored in this tail. And it's 2 points per small fish. Okay, week 1. We have week 2. And then we have, let's find a week 3 one. Okay, for example, large fish, small fish, and then medium is half colored in. Again. So this would be a week 3 achievement. You get 2 points for each large fish, and then the other side is 2 points for every 3 eggs. All right. Okay, we have another week 2 here. Young, and then rows of fish. So rows are going to be across the board like this. These are columns. So every row of fish would give you 2 points. And then we have young. So that's another week 2. Here's another week 2, medium fish. So 2 points per medium fish. And then every 2 eggs is 3 points. That seems really good. Another week 3, so each school of fish will give you 3 points. You do get 6 points at the end of the game for every school. So, I mean that would be a lot of points if you got a bunch of schools that game if you had this as your week 3 achievement. And then 1 point for young on the other side. Okay. Consumed fish. So, consumed fish. That's going to be when you eat a fish that's smaller. So let's say I had a fish here, and it was like 10 centimeters, and then I put a 20 centimeter fish on top. I would flip the fish that I ate, and I think that would then be consumed. They also have the iconography. It can be used as a cost or a benefit here. So, and tucked cards or tucked or eaten consumed fish are worth 1 point. Other side of that one, this is cool. So we have a predator tag here. That's a week 1. And I think this is all of the the achievements. There is a side A. I don't think I've ever played with side A, but I think they're already printed on there. So you don't change them. Okay. And then another week 1, we have fish, just total fish, any fish on your board. So 1 point per fish you have, and then 3 points per young is really good for week 1. And then here is the last option. So this is a week 3, fish without tokens. So no eggs, young, or schools on them. And then we have an if activated cards. So any card that has a brown power on it, just like Wingspan, 2 points per if activated ability. So that is a week 3. Yep. So there's 3 of each, and they're double-sided. So 6 for each week, 6 different options. I'm just gonna like mix them up like this and put them down. So we have. Maybe I should flip them. Trying not to look. Okay, we have 1. All right, this is going to be week 3. So we have fish without tokens, eggs, young, schools. Week 2. Mix these up. Flip them. Okay, every 2 eggs is 3 points for week 2. That's a good one. Then we need to pick a week 1 achievement. This is our little week tracker here. Looks like a dolphin. All right. So last one. No, we don't want that one. Let's do consumed fish. We've never had consumed fish, and I've never really tried to go for consuming fish. It does seem like a... So I know in Wingspan, tucking cards can be huge if you get like a full tuck engine, but in Finspan, it hasn't really seemed to be like a really great strategy to be tucking cards like that. But we've got the starting fish cards here. So I'm going to shuffle these up real quick. And there is only 10 of these. So you deal 2 to each starting player. I guess there's, you could play with 5, right? This is 1 to 5 players. Yeah, 1 to 5 players, ages 10 and up, 45 to 60 minutes. So we're going to test that today. We'll get two starting fish cards, see what we have. Oh. And I missed one here, so we're going to shuffle again. Okay, so we get 2 of these starting fish. This is a little crooked, is it not? Straighten this up. Is that better? It's hard to tell. This is a really wide angle lens. So it kind of looks like, to me, it looks like it bows a little bit, but who knows? All right, we're gonna get 1, 2 starting fish cards. Then we'll get 3 of the regular cards from the deck. Move this down so you can see the deck. And then we need room for a discard pile as well. This can just come off the board now that we have the starting fish out. You don't draw those ever again. Okay. So we're gonna get 3 of these. Nice. All right, let's see what we have. Okay, so the 2 starting fish we have are get this camera to focus a little bit here, if I can. Seems like it really struggles to focus. Okay, there we go. Okay, smooth cheek lanternfish. So this is a bioluminescent one. So when played, we lay 2 eggs and draw 2 cards. It costs 2 cards to play. Can go in the sunlight or twilight zone, and it's worth 1 point, 5 centimeters, a small fish. Okay, that's the starting card number 1, and then we'll look at our next starting one. So it has that different back. Blue lanternfish, another bioluminescent fish. 1 point. Costs 2 cards to play, and then when you play it, you draw 4 cards. So, you know, you're netting 2 cards there. It's pretty good. This is a twilight zone fish. 13 centimeters, 1 point. Upside down. Oh, I did see this last time I played. So this is an abyssal anglerfish. A lot of these really deep midnight zone fish are crazy looking. They have that little fishing rod. I don't know what it's called, but it says, unlike some angler fishes, the tiny male of this deep sea black devil are not believed to be parasitic. Parasitic, does it mean they have like parasites and stuff? They got big ass teeth too. Alright, at the end of the game, we get 3 points if there's no tokens on this fish. So no young, no eggs. That could be good. It's worth 2 points. 12 centimeters, small fish. We want to keep in mind the week 1, 2, and 3 achievements here. Okay. We have 2 cards left to look at for the opening hand. We have a silver light fish. Silver light fish does have a brown power. So this is if activated, all players hatch an egg into a young. Okay, this goes in twilight or midnight zone. 4 points, 30 centimeters. It's a small fish. And this little symbol here means that all players do like the ability. So if you choose to activate it. Now, when we're playing a solo against the automa, that's what I was talking about with the reminders card here. I did not notice this last time. So each time your diver lands on a if activated all players ability, an automa gains an egg from the supply. And then if it were to be like an all players when played ability, then she gets 4 eggs. So that would adjust the score a little bit too as well. All right, we got 1 card left to look at, and then we can get started here. So this is a giant devil ray. Okay, costs 1 card, 1 egg, 1 young. Can go in any of the 3 zones, which is nice. Really cool looking ray. 520 centimeters, so it's a large. Obviously, these things are huge. 7 points. When played ability to get 2 young. So devil rays get their common name from the twin horns on their head that are actually fins used to help them feed. That's interesting. So they eat. That helps them eat, I guess, somehow. Just shoveling fish into their mouth. Okay. So that was like the biggest point card we got. This is our starting hand over here. So we have 2 starting fish. Maybe I'll put them like this so that we can still see the blue lantern fish. We got 2 bioluminescent fish here for our starting fish. And then we have the 3 other fish. So we get 6 actions. We start with 6 divers. And when you play a fish, there's only 4 things you can do really in the game. You could play a fish. So if we play a fish, we'll put our token here. If we do a dive down this column, there's symbols that kind of show you what to do. So if you have a fish in this sunlight zone in this first column, you will draw a fish card. And then if again, when your diver gets to here, you will draw a card if you have a fish here. And then when your diver gets to here, we do have a printed fish on the board. It's not worth any points, but it's 9 centimeters and it's in that deep zone. So it's nice to have. There are 3 starting fish printed on the board. You can just eat those fish. So any fish that is bigger than these can go right on top and consume it. But I don't think you get a point because it's not a card that you're tucking, right? Okay, and then these columns, back to the middle column. So if we do a dive in the middle column, this purple flippers, they all have their own special border too. So we have blue, purple, and green. So if we do a dive down here, we're going to lay an egg if we have a fish in this first sunlight zone. And then when we get here, we do start with a fish in the twilight zone. So when we do dive here, we'll get an egg because we have that fish printed on the board. And then if we get a fish here, we will lay an egg. And then all of these symbols down here at the bottom, might be hard to see. Like this one, for example, the first time you do a dive in a round, you get this benefit in these white boxes. So this would mean get a fish, take a fish card from your discard pile. Now you have your own personal discard pile in this game, which I thought was really cool because you can play fish that you decided to discard, or maybe you had to discard earlier on, and then you can get those fish back, keep them in mind for playing later. Okay, so that's all of the columns except for this one. This one, you're gonna hatch eggs, move young around, all that stuff. Same rules apply. Starts out with hatching an egg, and then moving fish youngs or schools, moving youngs or schools here. Okay, so that was most of the game explained. So we're gonna get started here. All right, so what do we have? We've got the blue lantern fish. It looks like every fish that we have in hand right now starts with or costs a card to play. I do like the if activated abilities. We don't have any fish that consume fish, which is not good for now, but we can still consume fish. They don't need to have that symbol, but sometimes it's a benefit, sometimes it's a cost. I am curious though if these starting fish on the board, these printed fish, count towards consumed fish. So I think I'm gonna look that up real quick. Fish abilities, forage fish. Okay, the fish printed on your ocean mat are forage fish. They count as fish for dive sites, bonuses, and achievements, and they may be consumed by fish cards either by choice or as a cost. Consumed forage fish count as consumed fish for achievements and end of game scoring. There you go. That answers my question. So hopefully I don't have any more rules questions moving forward, but we'll see. All right, so we can consume these 3 fish to start, but it is nice to leave them like that because if you're putting a fish here and you already have a fish here, then you're not getting one in another zone for diving and things like that. I kind of want to get this 7-point mana ray down. We'll get too young. Oh, and another thing I realized I was doing wrong is you can only have 1 egg per fish, and I was just stacking eggs on fish, hatching them into young. So yeah, you can't do that. I realized over the weekend. Each fish can only hold 1 egg, so that's important to remember. All right, so the cost of this giant manta ray, I'm just wondering, is it worth it? Because let's see, we're looking at consumed fish every 2 eggs and then fish without tokens on them. Yeah, I think we're going to play this giant devil ray first. And let's get him in the twilight zone. Right? Yeah, we can still consume fish. So we're going to play a fish here. So we'll put our diver there. Now, the cost on the fish card, I'll go over this real quick. So this means you have to pay with a fish card from your hand. And then this means you have to pay with an egg off your board, and this means a young. So we're going to take an egg and a young, and then we'll pay with one of our fish cards. Which one do we want to pay with? Possibly this abyssal anglerfish. That will go in our discard, and then there's a chance we can get that later. Now, we have our own personal discard pile in this game. I think I said that. So I'm going to keep... Let me just move this here. I'll put our own personal discard there on the board. And now we have paid the cost for the Giant Devil Ray. Now, if you notice, on the Giant Devil Ray, it says when played, gain 2 young. So we'll take 2 young. We'll put one in this printed spot here. Can we do that? It's a good question, right? Can we do that? Can we put, where do they have to go on fish? Okay, each fish can hold at most 1 egg. Hatch one of your eggs. Doesn't really say anything. I don't know. I mean, we could just put the young here. Like, can we have a young on this fish? I think. I don't know. I don't think it matters. Let's put it... We get 2, right? Oh, why can't we just put them both there? Because each fish can only have 1 egg, but you get 2 young. Very nice. That seems like a better move. I don't know what I was thinking. All right, that was my first turn. And then for our... computerized opponent here, we have the Nautoma. So this is a deck of cards that will simulate another player's turn, and it is much faster than Wingspan for most times. The Nautoma does start with something too, I can remember. Okay, it's 2 eggs and a young, so we'll put their stuff right here. 2 eggs, then they get a young. And then we shuffle their deck, we remove one of the cards, and then we start flipping. Okay, so we'll flip, see what they're going to do. Okay, now this diver symbol at the top means that they would lose a diver towards the consumed fish week 1 achievement. They turn 3 young into a school, but they only have 1 young right now. And then they will hatch up to 4 eggs. So 1, 2. They hatch those 2 eggs, and then they lay 2 eggs. Okay, so steps 1, 2, and 3. Very simple, easy Nautoma to run. Now it's back to my turn already. So we're good to go. What are we doing? Now, every one of our fish cards right now costs the same thing, so we can only play 1. And I want to get a fish up here in this zone so I can draw more cards, because then we have 1 for each of the benefits. So we have a fish down here, we have a fish here, we need a fish here. Let's see. We have silver lightfish. One thing I never thought about, and this is probably a good strategy now that I just am thinking about it, it's I always tried to play, like, if this is a hatching ability, I always played that in this hatching ability column, but it's probably better to move them about, no? So let's try this silver lightfish. Although this isn't all, actually, let's do smooth cheek lanternfish. So that's the only fish we have that can go in this sun area up here. So as you can see, the smooth cheek lanternfish is a bioluminescent fish. We'll read the facts. So these bioluminescent fish are found in the depths during the day and rise to the surface at night to feed. Don't think I've ever seen one of those, but that would be really cool. And then we'll put this right in the middle here. And you can see the cost to play this card is 2 cards from your hand. So we do have 2 cards here. So we're going to spend both of those cards. And then we have a when played ability. Now this is just for us, not all players. So when played, you lay 2 eggs. So we'll put 1 on each of our fish, because you can only have 1. Last time I was just bam, you know. And then we get 2 more cards. So we're going to draw cards from the deck. 1, 2. And let's see what we have. How is this a fish? This looks more like a plant. Let's zoom in on this puppy. All right. This is called a leafy sea dragon. If I saw that piece of seaweed floating around, I would probably scream like a girl. Lobes of skin growing all over it. Lobes of skin growing all over it provide camouflage, giving it the appearance of seaweed as it swims. Yeah. Hell no. That is some creepy stuff. Okay, so that is the one card we got. The other card we got is another nasty looking fish. I mean, look at this thing. The pelican eel. So, yeah. The mouth of a pelican eel can open wide enough to swallow prey much larger than the eel itself. Yeah, I believe it. Wouldn't want to be swallowed by one of those. All right, that is a when played all players ability, lay an egg on each medium-sized fish. We don't have any medium fish. All right, so we've played another fish here. We did the when played ability. We paid the costs. We reaped the benefits. Flipped for Nautoma. All right, this little diver here means they're going to get a diver towards consumed fish, so that just gets them 2 points, and that will come on and off the card. And then they're going to draw a card, but it says all players, so we're going to draw a card as well. And they got a pennant coral fish. So we get one more card here. Big eye, smooth head. It sounds like you're just describing it. Yeah, big eye, smooth head. This is first discovered in 1911 off the coast of the Baja California Peninsula, where its Latin name comes from. That's a Latin name, big eye, smooth head. All right, this costs 1 card, 2 eggs. When played, lay an egg on each fish in your purple diving zone. We have 1 printed on the board. All right, the leafy sea dragon. I didn't see that. That's a game end ability, so 3 points if there's a school on this fish. Imagine a school of leafy sea dragon. It would just look like a big pile of seaweed. That's disgusting. I'm not gonna lie. Look at that thing. How is that swimming around in the ocean? All right. So we have a 4-pointer, 2-pointer, and a 3-pointer. What do we want to do now? We do have consumed fish as the week 1 achievement, so I think it might be a good idea to start getting some consumed fish. We haven't consumed any of our fish yet. The question is, do we want to consume something smaller than 100 centimeters like the smooth cheek lantern fish we played because it has a when played ability? Or do we just consume something that's already on the board? It is a requirement, so we do have to consume a fish. We could just play this leafy sea dragon. Try to get a school on it. I like that. That seems like a move. And then we could play this here and consume that showy bristlemouth. Or do we just put this down, then consume it? It is going to give us 3 extra points if there's a school on it at the end of the game. So let's do this. Let's play another fish. Put this leafy sea dragon down. Alright, so this is like a seaweed thing. Alright, this is going to go... It does have the camouflage symbol. And it's going to cost an egg. So we'll pay with the egg. And that's our turn. So this has a game end ability. Then we'll flip for Nautoma. They're going to get another diver towards consumed fish. Turn 3 young into a school. Hatch up to 4 eggs. Lay 2 more eggs. Bam. Alright, so now that they have some consumed fish, there should also be a... Yes, this card here is going to tell us, based on our difficulty, what the Nautoma will start with as far as consumed fish goes. So they have... For week 1 on calm difficulty, we're playing on stormy. So we'll flip it over. Consumed fish for week 1, they start with 2. So right now they have 4. That's 8 points already. So, yeah, we are far behind here. But I think it's a good idea to get this Shui bristlemouth down. Now, we don't have any more medium fish because when we play this, we'll be able to lay an egg on each of our medium fish. There will only be one when we play it, so we'll just get 1 egg. But that's okay. We need to at least qualify for this round goal. I say qualify, but you just get 2 points for each consumed fish. So we're going to play another fish here. We're playing the pelican eel into that twilight zone there. And then it says, when played, all players lay an egg on each medium fish. So we're going to lay 1 egg on that medium fish, and then Nautoma is going to get 4 eggs. 1, 2, 3, 4. So now they're up to 6 eggs. Get that rule book out of the way there. Okay, we have 2 turns left after this. We're going to flip for Nautoma. They're getting another diver towards consumed fish. Wow, they are really just racking up the points. Week 1. They'll draw a fish card, getting Mediterranean parrotfish. Okay, so these 2 fish that the Nautoma's got, these have borders on them, so if we do see a fish like that, it has to line up, go in that same column. For example, Mediterranean parrotfish has this green border, it would have to go in this right column, and the pennant coralfish has a blue border, so it would have to go in this left column. Alright, we have 2 turns left. I think we do a dive here. We had a lot of when played abilities, no if activated abilities yet. We may be able to pick up an if activated ability out of our discard pile by doing a dive here. So I'll show you what I mean. We are going to do a dive. So this is our first dive action. We've played 4 fish so far, and now we're doing a dive. So we'll dive in this first column here, which allows us to draw more fish cards. So since we have a fish in this first twilight zone in this column, we're going to draw 1 fish card. And we ended up getting blunt nose 6-gill shark. And then if we have if activated abilities, we'll stop and do those on the way. But we do not. This is a when played ability, so we'll skip it. And then we go here. So we have a fish in this twilight zone. So we do draw another card. And we got a Japanese anchovy. That has an if activated ability on it. Doesn't go in this zone though. So still might be something we play. Okay, let's go to the next spot. And these printed fish do count as fish. So we draw 1 more card. And we got an angler. Okay, look how big that thing is. 200 centimeters. 4 points. Okay. Wow, that's a twilight zone. I would think that would be in the depths. Okay, this angler uses a special dorsal fin ray to lure passing fish near its mouth, gulping them down. Alright, and then we'll move down to the bottom. We drew all 3 of those cards. And since this is our very first dive here in the depths, this little symbol means that we get to draw a card from our discard pile. So we'll pull these up. Now we do have 3 cards in our discard. So let's see, what do we want to take? I am thinking... So look at the abyssal anglerfish. So we have some synergy here with fish without tokens. At the end of the game, if there's no tokens on this fish, then we get 3 points. And the week 3 achievement is fish without tokens. So I like that. I also like blue lanternfish just because it allows you to draw 4 cards. So you're net gaining 2 cards right there. And a lot of the costs of fish are just to play more cards from your hand or discard. So yeah, something else to pay attention to though is these zones. So we have a twilight midnight zone. I do want to get a fish here, and then we're kind of locked on all the zones. We need kind of one, two, three fish. So let's take our blue lantern fish back, and then we'll hopefully play this next turn and just draw more cards. Because I don't really see the point in doing dives. So these are going to get discarded. And that was our final benefit for diving in that first column. So then we'll flip for, this should be the 5th turn, for Nautoma. We'll flip. Okay, finally a symbol where they're going to lose a diver towards consumed fish. And then they're going to turn up 3 young into a school, which they do not have 3 young, so they can't do that. And then they'll turn 4 eggs into young, and then they will lay 2 more eggs. So you can see they're really just racking up points down here. And we've got 1 action left. And like I said, I think the move here, so I did pick up Blunt Nose 6-skill Shark, which has a consumed fish ability. And then it says when played, all players lay an egg on each fish in your purple. The angler also consumes fish. Maybe we play angler right now, because that's the only cost on the card is to consume a fish. So let's do that. We're going to play the angler to try and stack up 2 more points there. It's also a 4-point fish on its own. So we just consumed another fish. That's the cost of the card, is to consume a fish. So we're consuming the printed fish on the board because this is 200 centimeters. This is 1 centimeter, very small. All right, so we've played another fish. It's our last action, week 1. So then we'll flip another card for Nautoma. And all they're doing is converting 4 eggs into young and laying 2 eggs. So now they have a bunch of young here to convert to schools later on. We'll take that 1 card out, put it back in. We'll shuffle the Nautoma deck. Shuffle this up a little bit. Okay, and then we remove 1. And then we score the week 1 achievement. So it's consumed fish. We're going to score it for the Nautoma first. So we'll take their card. So this card here says week 1, stormy difficulty. So difficulty 4 and 5. Consumed fish, they start with 2. So 2 consumed fish would equal 4 points for them. Plus 2, they have 2 more. So it's 4 times 2 basically, because you get 2 points per consumed fish. They start with 2, they have 2 divers. So it's 8 points. So then we'll just jot that down on the score pad. They have a nice little score pad they give you here. So you're going to write down the week 1 achievement. So Nautoma got 8 points for week 1. And then we get how many consumed fish do we have? So let's look at our board. Now, consumed fish typically would be tucked cards, but we did consume 2 of the printed fish on the board, and that does count. So, Shuey Bristlemouth is a consumed fish. Was eaten by the pelican eel with the huge mouth. And then the Catalina goby was a consumed fish consumed by the angler. So that's 2. So we get 4 points. So it's 2 points per consumed fish. Put the divers back. Slide this over to week 2. And we're on to round 2. All right, we get our divers back. And then we can start. All right, this Japanese anchovy is interesting. Costs a card and an egg. I would like to get an egg off of this because I do want to play this blunt nose 6-skill shark down here. Then we'll lay an egg on each of the purple divers. And we have 2 fish that do that same ability. So let's do Japanese anchovy. We will pay with our blue lantern fish. Maybe we can get that back again. I do hate to see that go with the draw 4 cards. Could be big. Maybe we just discern which one of these we want to play. It would be better actually to get rid of this, I think. So maybe we'll discard this as a cost for the Japanese anchovy. And we're going to take an egg from our center column because we have the blunt nose 6-gill shark, which says when played, all players lay an egg on each fish in your purple. So we're going to play this. Now this has to go in Twilight Zone or Sunlight Zone. And we're going to put it in the Twilight Zone. And it also has to go in that matching border. So center column, we'll pay the 1 egg and the 1 card from our hand. And that was our first turn. So we played a fish. We're going to flip a card for Nautoma. All right, they are going to convert up to 4 eggs into young. They have no eggs at the moment. So then they're just going to lay 2 eggs. Okay, and then it's back to me. So I sort of think I want to play this blunt nose 6-gill shark. Since we just put another fish in this column, we could play this here. So we would be, it's an 8-point fish. We would be consuming the glasshead grenader and then 1 young as the cost. So we'll take a young from our Devil Ray. And then we'll give Nautoma 4. Actually, shouldn't they have... Yeah, we'll give them 2 young. Or, sorry, 4 young. Because we did another when played ability. So I think I missed a when played ability. And then they would have laid 2 eggs. And then we would give them 4 more eggs. Hopefully I'm doing this right. I'm trying to just keep it moving. So where am I at? They would convert up to 4 eggs into young and lay 2 more eggs. Look at all those young. That doesn't seem right, but it is what it is. I know I did it twice, but you're supposed to give Nautoma 4 eggs when you do a when played ability that says all players, and we did do 2. No, that would have just been our second. So let's take back 4 of those young. And that's fair. All right, and then it says when played, all players lay an egg on each fish in your purple flippers, which is the center column. So we get 3 eggs there, 1 on each fish. Is fine with me. And we played the blunt nose 6-gill shark. So we did played a fish there, and then Nautoma will flip a card. They're gonna get a diver on this week 2 achievement, which is every 2 eggs. So that just gave them 2 more eggs for the achievement, and then they draw a card. So okay, Creole fish. A relatively short snout gives it binocular vision. When it sees danger, it retreats rapidly into rocks or reefs. Okay, another fish there. Fish card, and then we get 1 as well. So flabby whalefish. Wow. This thing's only 31 centimeters, even though it has whale in the name. Pretty small. Goes in the Twilight or Midnight Zone, and when played, you lay 2 eggs and hatch a young. All right. So we are pretty close to being out of fish cards here. So I think the move is going to be to do a dive. I want to get a fish here, and here, like I was saying, so that we can start doing more dives in this area. I don't want to dive over here until we have fish kind of in there. You won't get this benefit unless you have fish in that column. So let's do a dive. Take one of our guys here, and we'll start up here. Now, we do have a fish in this first sunlight zone. So we will get the benefit of drawing a card. So we'll draw one card here. We got Spotlight Loose Jaw. Okay, let's move down. We got a fish here in this zone too, so we're going to draw another card. Yellow Boxfish. Okay, Blunt Nose 6-Skill Shark is down in the Twilight Zone, so we do have a fish here. We get to draw one more card, and then this is our first dive of the round in this zone, so we'll get this benefit here at the bottom to take a card from our discard. Now, the card from the discard I'm immediately thinking about is the it was the Lanternfish, but we already got that back, so maybe we take Abyssal Anglerfish here. It's got good synergy with that week 3 achievement. So we're really racking up the fish cards here. We got 2 in our discard. All right, flipping for Nautoma's third action. They're going to gain a Diver towards week 2 achievement. Draw another fish card. They got a Stonefish. Look at this thing. Looks straight up like a rock. Has that camouflage symbol. It's pretty crazy looking. And then it says, the world's most venomous fish. If you mistake it for a harmless rock, it will pop up its dorsal spines and sting you. Pretty nasty looking. And we also get to draw a card. So look at all these fish cards we got now. Ooh, Nemo. Alright, clown anemone fish. That is the exact fish from Nemo, I think. Living within an anemone, in a symbiotic relationship, the two creatures defend each other from predators. Sounds like Nemo, right? Alright, that has a game end ability on it, so 6 points. If there's too young, exactly too young on that fish. Could be cool. We might play that clown anemone into a hatchery zone. I think fish cards are important. We might play this blue lanternfish right now into this zone here. So this is the Twilight Zone. It is only 1 point, but we are going to net 2 cards. So let's play another fish. So the cost to play this fish is 2 cards. So we'll pick 2 that we want to get rid of. I don't really care for these when activated abilities. And maybe we drop this flabby whalefish. Although, yeah, let's drop flabby whalefish. So we're going to pay these 2 cards. And then it says when played, draw 4 cards. So we get 4 new ones. Okay, look at this thing. Wow, this is a really cool fish. I have seen these. Or maybe I haven't. On Nat Geo. I thought this was like a sheep's head or something, but take a look at the colors on this thing. So this is a humphead wrasse. Pretty cool looking fish. It says it excavates by ejecting water to displace sand. Then it noses around for food. That's that's wild. All right, so 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, these are the 4 cards we got. We got the wrasse. We have Chola guitarfish. I have seen this one. Gets its name from looking like a guitar. And then we have a live sucker shark. So I think everybody's seen these. They're usually attached to sharks. It says this fish can attach itself to any large host, even scuba divers, using the oval-shaped sucking disc on its head. Okay, so that's not its mouth. It's kind of weird. All right, and then we have an ocean sunfish. These are so cool. These are massive. I think I have seen one of these pretty far out in the ocean. The largest known bony fish, it basks on the surface to thermally recharge after feeding in deeper cold waters. That's awesome. So it just looks like a giant plate with 2 fins. It can probably be mistaken for like a large turtle too. I think that's what we thought it was, but they're huge. Okay, so we did the blue lanternfish there. We drew 4 cards. We're going to flip for Nautoma. Okay, they're going to lose a diver here. They're going to turn 3 young into a school. They've only got 2 schools. And then up to 4 eggs into young. So we'll give them 2 more eggs as well. All right, next turn. We could do clown and enemy fish. I like that. 6 points if there's 2 young on there. We haven't done any dives yet. It would be nice to get some fish down in here. Looking at that stoplight loose jaw, that is a bioluminescent camouflage predator. Pretty cool fish. I think we play humphead wrasse though. No, we need something down in this midnight zone. So we need something here, and then I'll start doing more dives. Maybe ocean sunfish, so costs 2 eggs. At the end of the game, we lay an egg on each large fish. I do like that. That's 1, 2, 3. Could be 4. So we're going to play ocean sunfish. It's a 4-pointer. We'll drop it down here. Oh no, it can't go down there. So it feeds in the depths, but not that deep. It may have to be tripod fish where we, at the end of the game, consume 2 fish. Or abyssal angler fish. I like that. We did talk about playing that earlier, so that's going to be one we put down right here. So this one can go in this zone. It's got the bioluminescent predator symbols. Costs 1 fish card. What do we pay with here? Maybe the stoplight loose jaw. Although moving around some young at the end of the game could be good. I think we dropped this chola guitar fish. It has a when played ability to play a fish into the center zone, and we are kind of running out of space there. So we're going to pay with, what did we play? This one. So we're going to pay with 1 card, and then we'll take an egg from the pelican eel. Alright, and that has a game end ability, so we'll move on to Nautoma's turn. So we played another fish, right? Alright, they're going to gain a diver towards week 2. Turn 3 young into a school. Hatch up to 4 eggs. So 2 eggs are hatching. Why do they have so many young here? I think I messed up somewhere, but then we're going to lay 2 eggs. Alright, let me just make sure the divers are right. So they gained 1, gained 2, lost 1, gained 1. So yeah, they should have 2 divers. Alright, and then we have 1 turn left. Now I want to get a fish here like I was saying so that we have 1 in each area for when we do dives. So that ocean sunfish can't go down here. That's unfortunate. Maybe tripod fish. So that also has a game end ability to eat or consume 2 fish. We might do that. So let's put this down here. Maybe at the very bottom. Let's do that. And then it costs 2 eggs. So we'll just pay the 2 eggs. And there's an easy 4 points. Okay, now that was our final turn for week 2. So then we're going to do 1 more card for Nautoma. They will lose another diver, which is helpful. And then they will draw a fish card. And we draw a fish card too. So we got Greenland shark. Okay, that's a big one. 8 points. 550 centimeter fish. The shark currently holds the record as the longest lived vertebrate with an estimated lifespan of over 250 years. These things live for 250 years. That's insane. I mean, look how old it looks. That one that's drawn might be 250 years old. Okay, that was our last turn. We got a fish card there. So then we will, what do? We score the week achievement. So let's look at the achievements here. We are on week 2. So every 2 eggs will be 3 points. So we simply just have 2 eggs. So we get 3 points. And then for Nautoma, I'll put this over here actually. So we are on week 2. And we're playing on stormy difficulty. So every 2 eggs, so they start with 3, and they have 1 diver, putting them at 4. So we do 4 times 3 is 12 points. And we're just getting cooked here. We're going to have to make up for it with points on the board or something. Okay. We'll move this down to, take this diver off, move this down to week 3. This is the final week where we score achievements, or we have something to go for. So it's going to be 1 point for fish without tokens on them. So let's look at, for an example, this fish has a token, so it wouldn't count. This one has tokens, so it would not count. All right, we've done a lot of fish playing. We have one in each zone. Let's start doing some dives. Now, we haven't done any dives down this center column. This is going to give us a lot of eggs. So we'll do our first dive in the center column. We're going to get this benefit here. We're going to lay an egg on a fish because we have a fish in this column in the sunlight zone. So we get 1 egg. You can have 1 egg per fish. And then we'll go on our Japanese anchovy. So this says, if activated, lay an egg. So we can lay an egg. And then we have a fish in this zone. So we get to lay another egg. Put one on the... yeah, let's just leave it there. And then we also have a fish in the depths. So we get another egg. And I want to keep these eggs close together because then we can turn them into young, hatch them into young, turn them into schools for the 6 points towards the end of the game. Okay, that was our first dive for the center column. So we gain this first benefit here. And then if we do any more dives in that column, we won't gain this benefit. So we get 1 more egg. And then we shuffle the Nautoma deck. Put that card back in. And we remove 1 card. And we can start flipping. Alright, so we're going to see what they're doing now. Okay, so they're going to gain a diver towards this achievement. And we might as well just look at that right now for week 3, what they're going to do. So fish without tokens, they start with 7. So that 1 diver puts them at 8. Turn 3 young into a school. Up to 4 eggs into young, so just 2. And then lay 2 eggs. I really do love how fast you can run this Nautoma. You really can just breeze through these turns. Super easy. It's my turns that take long. The decision space in this game is so big. That's why it's fun. You will never play the same game twice. And also, we're learning about fish, so it's cool. I really like that clown anemone fish. If we can get 2 young on that by the end of the game, it's 6 extra points. So it turns into an 8-point fish. I really like that. Although, what we might do is put this live sucker shark down now that we have some eggs. And then this has a when played ability to consume 2 fish. So what we would do is drop this live sucker shark right here, pay 2 eggs, and then it would consume 2 fish that are smaller than 110 centimeters, from our hand. So we have clown anemone and stoplight loose jaw. So let's do that. We'll consume these 2 fish to play live sucker shark. So that was 6 points. Pretty good. All right, we've played a fish. Turn 1. So then we will, or that was our second turn, sorry. So then we'll flip a card for Nautoma here. They're going to lose that diver they got on their first turn. They're going to turn 3 young into a school. Up to 4 eggs into young. Whoops, I don't know why I put them back. So up to 4 eggs into young, and then they'll lay 2 eggs. Okay. We've got 4 turns left for week 3. We should do some diving, huh? Maybe we do a dive here, then here. Let's go. Alright, so we have a fish in this zone, so we're going to get an egg. We activate our Japanese anchovy. We lay an egg. We have a fish in this zone. We get another egg. We have a fish in this zone. We lay an egg. We don't get that benefit because that's our second dive there. We'll flip for Nautoma. They will gain a diver back towards week 3 achievement and draw a fish card, which means we get to draw a fish card. Oh, there's a European flounder. So, not sure how this differs from Atlantic or American flounder, which I've caught many of. It looks about the same, maybe a little wider, longer fins. Can be found in the sea, in estuaries, and even sometimes in freshwater rivers. Pretty cool. And then we draw our own card, and we got a diamond stingray. Look at that thing. Common near beaches. It's not aggressive, but it's long, venomous tail, spine, can be dangerous to people. No shit, look at that thing. That's what killed Steve Irwin right there, you know. Okay. I like this Greenland shark. We do have one young left. And then when played, all players lay an egg on each large fish. So we do give Nautoma 4 eggs for this, but it's an 8-point fish, consumes a fish. So we have to consume a fish from our hand, right? So we can eat any of these 3. I think we eat... We don't have... Well, we do have some cards in our discard for that. Maybe we just consume this ocean sunfish. Yeah, we're going to consume the ocean sunfish. So as a cost, we're consuming the ocean sunfish, and we're paying the young. And this one goes down in the deeps. So we'll put this here. Greenland sharks, an 8-point fish, has that double predator tag. So pretty cool. This shark, oh, we already read that. So it lives for over 250 years. That's wild. I didn't know anything could live that long. Okay, let's flip Nautoma card. We played a fish, right? So we've got 2 turns left after this. They're going to lose that diver again. Turn 3 young into a school. Hatch 2 eggs. Oh, we didn't do the when played ability, so let me back up 1 second. So all players lay an egg on each large fish. Let's do that for ourselves first. So we have 1, 2. Can't put 1 there. Okay, so it was just 2 eggs, and then Nautoma gets 4 for that, right? Now we already turned their young into a school, so they would hatch up to 4. So we'll hatch 4. And then they lay 2 eggs as well. Wow, really racking up the points here. So, yeah, we're not going to win this, but we're getting there. We're improving. All right, we've got 2 actions left. Now, we have not done a dive over here, so I want to try it, kind of see how this run goes. We're going to dive for the first time in this column. So what this means is, as you can see here, if you have a fish in the Twilight Zone in this column, we have 2, so we're good. We hatch an egg. So we'll start hatching eggs. Turn that into a young. If activated, move a young or a school. Move that off of the fish so we can put another egg on there. And then we'll skip this. This is a when played ability. Then we'll hatch another egg. Actually, why would I move it there? Ready? I'm going to move this up instead. That's the move. Okay. Jumping down to the bottom of the board. So we'll hatch another egg. We'll hatch the one that's on there. And then we can move another young or a school. We're not going to move anything. And then, again, we get this ability, but we're not going to move anything. Okay, so flip for Nautoma. They will lose a diver. They don't have a diver, so they'll gain a card. Football fish. Saw that this weekend. Not for real, just the card. And then we get another fish. So we got European anchovy. We got a bunch of anchovies. Japanese, European, all of the anchovies. Yeah, we could play one of these 2. We are running out of spots here, but I am looking at this diamond stingray. It is only 2 points. What about laying an egg on each fish? See, playing humphead wrasse would only give us 1 egg. Diamond Stingray, we're going to get 3 cards from our discard pile and move it young, which is interesting. So I think we play this in a hatchery up here, or an estuary it's called. Yeah, let's drop that there. And then it costs 1 egg, so let's take an egg from down here. And then we get 3 cards from our discard and we can move a young. We're not going to move the young, but we're going to take 3 cards from our discard. What do we want? I really like just maybe some of these bigger point fish. Like we'll take this 6-pointer. Maybe we take cards that cost fish too. Maybe something that allows us to hatch. So 2. And then, yeah, we'll take 3. The guitar fish comes back. Okay, what did we just do? We played a fish. So we've played 3 fish. We've done 3 dives. That's the end of our... we forgot to remove 1 is why there's 1 left. Okay, so then they'll turn up to 4 eggs into young and then lay 2 eggs. And that's going to be the end of week 3. So we're going on to the last round of the game here. They're going to lay 2 eggs. All right, and we're going to score this... week 3 achievement right now. So this is 1 point for fish without tokens. I was not thinking about this. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4 fish without tokens. Every other fish has a token on it. So we only get 4 points for that. And then Nautoma, like I said, they start with 7 and they have no divers. So they get 7 times 1 is 1. 7 times 1 is 7, so they get 7 points. 7 times 1 is 1. Yeah, I would love to give them 1 point. All right, and then we'll move this over to week 4. This is the final week. So last round of the game. We don't have a achievement to really work towards, so we're just trying to get as many points as we can. We'll get our divers back, shuffle the Nautoma deck, and we can get this moving. I will say about this game, like as it compares to Wingspan, one thing that I really do like about this game is the taking cards from your discard pile. That's huge. You have your own personal discard pile in this game, so you know you might want to play a fish, but you don't want to necessarily use it as a cost to get rid of a card. In Wingspan, when you discard a card, it's gone forever. So actually, I guess that's not true with the Asia expansion, but still, like having your own personal discard and being able to draw cards from your discard is a really nice mechanic about this game. It opens a bigger decision space, in my opinion. So yeah, we're gonna do this last round here. Now, I am just trying to get big point fish on the board. We've still got room up in the sunlight zone. So we have this yellow boxfish for 6 points. Costs 2 cards. Let's think about some cards we want to get rid of. Maybe this anchovy to lay an egg on each estuary. We only have 1 estuary fish right now, so maybe we'll drop that. And we do really like, I really like this if activated, all players hatch an egg ability. So maybe we get rid of the wrasse. Those are going into our discard as a cost for the yellow boxfish. So this is a 6-point fish. Let's put it over here. No, let's put it here because then we can hatch move. I like that. Okay. First flip for Nautoma. They're going to lose a diver. Then they will gain a card. Ooh, Pudgy Cusk Eel. Look at this thing. Nasty. The Pudgy Cusk Eel is a common fish of deep oceans. It lives along the ocean floor as deep as 4,300 meters. Wow. All right. And then we draw a card. Oh, Pacific White Skate. Look at this thing. I've never seen a white skate like that. That's sweet. Okay, Pacific White Skate. Most skates only have dermal denticles on their dorsal fin or on their dorsal side, but this one has tiny spines on its belly as well. Cool. and we've played one fish. So I think we're going to start diving here. Now, if we dive here, we lay eggs. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 spots for eggs, and we would lay a total of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 eggs. So I think we're going to dive first in the center column. So we get an egg here. We'll activate our anchovy to get an egg here. We get another egg here. We get another egg here. So now all of our fish have egg on them. This is our first dive in that center column, so we get this benefit as well. Put that on the box fish. That's the final fish. And then flipping for Nautoma, they're going to lose a diver. They don't have any divers yet, so turning 3 young into a school. 4 eggs into young, and laying 2 eggs. Wow, they really do have a lot of points here. Each one of these school tokens is going to be 6. So, yeah, they're really racking up the points. All right, let's do a dive in this right column so I can show you what I mean by hatching fish and moving and stuff and trying to make schools of our own. So we want to get a school on this leaf dragon. Is 3 extra points at the end of the game. If you can read the game end power here, so you get 3 points if there's a school on this leafy sea dragon. Now we are covering up one of the coolest fish in the game. You can see it looks like seaweed, but there you go. So the first thing we're going to do for this dive here is hatch an egg. So we will hatch this egg next to the leafy sea dragon, and then we're going to activate. This says all players, so we give Nautoma an egg. And then we get to move a young or a school. So we're going to move this young over here, and as soon as there's 3 young on a fish, it immediately turns into a school, which is 6 points. So we'll take that and turn it into a school. Okay, then moving along here, we've got move another young or school. We don't have the young to move. So let's do hatch another egg, then move another young or a school. So we'll move this over here. And then we can move another young or a school. Okay. So I think for my next turn here, I got to get this silver lightfish down here. This is going to give us another if activated all players hatch an egg ability. So I like that. As you can see, we really didn't get to hatch too many eggs. We're mostly have movement cards. So our egg laying is good. Our hatching is not good, and our moving young or schools is good. So let's flip for Nautoma. They're going to get a diver, which doesn't matter for this round. They're going to get the scaleless black dragonfish, and then we draw a card as well. We got a white suckerfish. Oh my god. This thing has the thing on the top of its head. That's creepy. Alright, this says it usually attaches itself to a large ray, but sometimes to a shark or a marlin. It often enters the gill chamber or mouth of its host. Disgusting. Okay. Yeah, so 4th action here. We got 3 turns left. I think we're just looking at playing this silver lightfish and doing some more diving, so this one can go in this midnight or twilight zone, costs 2 cards. Doesn't really matter what we play with. So we're going to discard these 2. Play this down here. And that's our turn. Okay, flipping for Nautoma. We played a fish, so we got to put our diver there. They're going to gain a diver. Turn 3 young into a school. Hatch up to 4 eggs, so they do have 3 here. So the turners 3 into young, and then they'll lay 2 more eggs. Okay, we got 2 turns left. Let's just keep diving down here. We're gonna hatch an egg. Now that I think about it, though, let's see. We have some game end abilities to do, so we want to hatch this and move it off of this fish because we don't want tokens on there for the extra 3 points. And then at the end of the game, we're also going to get consume 2 fish. So this fish will consume 2 fish. So we're looking for something smaller than 43 centimeters. We have 1, so we may want to dive in this for our last turn. Or maybe we should do it now, right? I need to think about this for a second. I don't think the order matters, but let's try. So we're going to hatch this egg first. And then we'll do the all players, give Nautoma an egg for the all players. And then we move a young or school over to here. So we don't want any tokens on this anglerfish, so we get that bonus 3 points. Then we can move another young or school. We're not going to do that, so we're going to go down here and hatch this. And then we can move a young or school. We're not going to do that. And then we hatch again. And then we don't get to move that into a school. So that is unfortunate, but that's okay. We only lost like 2 points for that, I guess. And this was also an all players, so we give Nautoma an egg for that. And we only have one action left after this, so what are they doing? Getting a card. So we get a card. Perfect! A 40 centimeters, so we don't have to dive here. We don't have to dive here like we wanted to. We can actually just dive here to get more schools. So that's the play. Because at the end of the game, we will consume those 2 fish and we'll have no tokens on here, so we've done our game end abilities. Alright, so we're going to hatch one more egg. Let's hatch this egg. Okay, we're going to move a young or a school. Let's move this young up here to turn it into a school. 6 points. Bam. All right, let's activate this. That was an all players, so they get another egg. Okay, this one is not all players. We're going to move this young down here, get another school. Bam, another 6 points. Okay, I see how those hatching and moving young can be a big play. All right, and then let's see, we hatch another egg here. Doesn't really matter. We move a young or a school. This will also not matter, but we can move that there. And then we have another all players hatch, so why not give them a point, give us a point, doesn't matter. And that was our final turn of the game, so we're going to flip one more for Nautoma, then we're going to score this up, see how we did. All right, they're going to turn 4 eggs into young. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then they're going to lay 2 eggs, and that's it. So there's no achievement in week 4 to score. So all we do is our game end abilities. So let's look at some of our game end abilities. Now we could do these in any order that we want. First, let's start with our leafy sea dragon. So pretty cool looking seaweed looking fish here with the camouflage tag. So at the end of the game, you're going to get 3 extra points if there's a school on this fish. So we do have a school on this fish, so this is 3 points. And then let's go down to the depths here. We have 2 more game end abilities to do. So this is at the end of the game, get 3 points if there's no tokens on this fish. So that puts us at 6. And then tripod fish is game end, consume 2 fish. We have exactly 2 fish in hand. This was a perfect use of resources. So this 43 centimeter fish is going to consume a 40 and a 30 centimeter fish, both suckerfish and sardine. So this fish consumes 2 fish, tucking those cards under there, giving us 2 points. We won't count the 2, we just count these 2 for 6. Nautoma doesn't do game end abilities. And then the next thing we score is going to be the points printed on visible fish. So every one of these fish, we're just going to add up the visible points on them. So we have 16, 24, 26, 27, 37, 44, 48, 51, 52, 53, 59. So we have 59 points printed on visible fish. Then we have eggs. Each egg is going to be worth 1 point. We have 1, 2, 3, 4 eggs. Each young is going to be 1 point. We have 1, 2 young. Each school is going to be 6 points. We got 1, 2, 3. So 18 points. And then consumed fish are 1 point each. So we have some consumed fish here, and we can't forget about the printed fish on the board. So this is going to be, we'll just take all these face down tucked cards and count them all as 1 point. So let's see, we have some under the sucker, shark, or shark sucker. I think that's it. Yeah, so that's all our consumed fish. We're gonna get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 points for consumed fish. And then Nautoma, the way we score Nautoma is written on this card right here, on the back of the reminder card. So we are playing on difficulty 4 and 5, so they're gonna get 4 points for each face up fish card. So all these, so ready, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Whoops, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So they get 40 points. And then we score, a school is going to be worth 6 on 4 and 5 difficulty. So they have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 times 6 is 48. Okay, and then each one, young is going to be 1. So then they have, let's see, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18 young. Oh boy. And then each egg is going to be 1 point. So they have 4 eggs. And then consumed fish, they don't score. So then we just tally this up. So we have the little score pad here. We're going to add all this up right now. So I'm going to use my calculator a little faster. So we have so 18 plus 59 here. Plus 29, 39, 29. So we have 106, which is about what I've been scoring. I haven't really been able to get much higher. I did get 118 once, but I think Autumn is going to score around 118 here. So let's see, they have 27 and 40 is 67. So 71 plus 18 plus 48. So they got 137 here. I want to say that somewhere along the line I messed up with the young, but they may have just whooped us that bad. This game is hard. We may have to jump back down to calm difficulty. But yeah, that is Finspan. I think I am going to continue playing this game. It is getting close to October, so I think I'm going to start setting up for like some Final Girl streams. Final Girl is really fun. We're going to go through all of the seasons. We have all the seasons, so should be some good stuff coming up. Finspan. I will be I want to get into the Ravel mode, so there is a whole other harder difficulty somewhere on one of these cards. Or maybe, am I thinking Wormspan? No, because look at these. So they do actual dives and such. So I would like to be able to use these cards at some point when we get there. But that's going to be it for today. We're going to go watch the Eagles game. So everyone have a good rest of your weekend.